All right, let's go over exactly how to do RDLs. So the first thing we'll go over is kind of the setup, then how to know if you're doing it right, what you should be feeling, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so you want to start with your feet about hips width distance apart, maybe a little bit wider if you need to, toes either pointed out or mostly just straight ahead. So you're going to go ahead, get a good pickup with these dumbbells. You're going to start from the top. So feet hips width distance apart, slight bend in the knees, just a nice soft bend. You're going to lock that in place there. Shoulders back and down so that the lats are engaged. And then all you're going to do from here, keeping your knees in place, is you're going to push your butt back, push your hips back to lower this down. So you want to keep the dumbbells as close to you as possible, thinking about pushing the hips back and then driving straight back through. So your feet should be pressing flat through the floor. You're not reaching for the floor, you're actually kind of fighting it. So keeping those shoulders back, chest up just a little bit, pushing the hips back so that you're not reaching for the floor. This is what we want to avoid, is rounding that back over. Notice I'm not getting my hips back either. And we don't want to excessively bend the knees so that we're using our knees at the bottom. So you want to be everything. You should be feeling it back here in your glutes, your hamstrings. Your low back will feel it a little bit as we get adapted. But as we keep going, you should feel it in your back less and less, and more in your hamstrings and your glutes as you learn to kind of load it this way. So keeping it nice and tight, pushing those hips back, and you should be good to go there. You can also do this with a kettlebell, same way. Hold the kettlebell in both hands, shoulders down and back, and then we just hinge back and then straight back through. You don't have to come all the way down to the floor, as long as you can get down where your chest is parallel to the floor and then drive back through. And as we get a little bit better, you can keep going, but just again, make sure that those knees aren't bending down for us to get down there. We don't want to be using the quads, we want to be using all the back. So when you use the Smith machine, it's going to be with the barbell, so it's all the very same. Smith machine is even easier because it stays on the same track. So you just want it coming down. So you're thinking about, you're holding that Smith machine and you're just pushing your hips back, letting that bar come down, and then driving it back through. The biggest thing you don't want to do, again, reaching for the floor, and you don't want to let this bar get out away from you, because now we have to sit down here, and that's going to put more pressure on the low back. As we get this bar away from our hips, it's going to put more pressure on the low back. So if we're out here, it's going to put a lot of pressure on our back. We're not going to be able to use the glutes quite as much. So we want to sit it back and drive straight through. If you're really having trouble not bending your knees and getting that hinge position, I'm going to show you one thing that we can do to make that a little bit better. So what you want to do is set up here with a bench right behind you. This should be right below your knees. So you have to touch this bench with your calves, and then keep your calves touching the bench while trying to push your butt over it, and then come back up. So we keep the dumbbells close, back flat. We're pushing our butt back, keeping those knees back, pressing into this bench, and then we stand straight up, have to drive straight back through. So if you're really having trouble getting the hips back, getting that feel for going back and forth, this is a great way to do it without bending your knees. So we're not, if we squat it down, notice my knees come out in front. So I have to push back and then drive straight back through. So that's all it is there. And that should help you out with the RDL. Make sure, again, if you're feeling it in your hamstrings and your glutes, a little bit in your low back, like I said, as you get adapted, but we don't want to feel it too much there. We should feel it more back here. If you're feeling it in your legs, you're doing it correctly. And if you're not bending your knees, you shouldn't be pressing with the quads. Should be good there. And make sure you can try to feel if you're rounding your spine over too much. Really shouldn't, because that's just not going to put our glutes in a good position to drive through, and that's really what we want to be working. So see if this helps. Let me know how it goes this week with the dumbbell RDLs and the Smith machine if you get on it. All right.